Welcome to Mysteries to Die For and this toe tag. I am TG Wolff and I'm here with Jack, my piano player and producer. This is normally a podcast where we combine storytelling with original music to put you at the heart of a mystery. Today is a bonus episode that we call a toe tag. It's the first chapter from a fresh release in the mystery, crime, or thriller genre. And today's feature release is Killer Tracks by Mary Keliikoa. All right, we're going to do a little bit of an extended read here today because we want you to really get the gist of the story. And I'm sorry, but one chapter just is not going to do that. Prologue. Click, slide, clang. If you never heard that sound again, it'd be far too soon. That and the sleepless nights under a threadbare wool blanket that chafed his exposed skin, the looming threat of death in the yard, the shower, the halls to and from the cafeteria or his cell. Death and desperation seeped from the pores of this godforsaken place, so thick he could almost taste it. No amount of soap, no amount of ritual would rid him of the stench that clung to him, though he'd be willing to try now. It was over now. Dying among these second-class men would not be his fate. A man of his intellect, a man far superior to the minions around him, deserved better than what he'd endured these past years. He'd eagerly re-educate those who believed otherwise. They'd all see it by the time he was through with them, just like those that came before. Click, slide, clang. A voice echoed off concrete walls. Inmate 22A4242. Gather your crap. Time to go. He stood, hands to his side. Ready to face the world? He remained silent. None would get the satisfaction of his acknowledgement. The voice continued. They gave you a goddamn Hail Mary, bleeding heart liberals anyway. Don't screw it up. He bowed his head to obscure his smirk. Right. I know your type. You're innocent, the guard continued rambling. That's what all you convicts say. I didn't do it. I was framed. It's unconstitutional. The guard's voice dropped to a growl, prickling his skin. Tell that to the victims and their families. I'd reckon less than 1% of you bastards got a legit claim. The guard had forgotten, betrayed, of which he surely had been. But he shrugged, not to agree, but to stave off the urge to wrap his hands around the guard's throat. So close to freedom. Whether he was innocent or not had no bearing. It had not been among the criteria for the help he received. Being wrongfully convicted qualified. According to the junior team that had embraced his cause when they'd written the letter, they agreed that that's what happened in his case. Even if it took them 10 years, he loved a system that allowed more loopholes than a cable-knit sweater his mother had dressed him in for school. Sell it to someone else, you psycho, the guard snapped. Bet you money. We'll see you again real soon. A jagged smile crossed his face. The guard had part of it correct. He'd never be back here. Next time, he'd be less gullible. And he intended to snuff out anything that could hurt him, like the light of every other woman who hadn't seen his worth. Chapter 1. Some days, it didn't pay to get out of bed. Sheriff Jax Turner had experienced more than his fair share of those mornings in the past 6 years. First, when his daughter Lulu died from leukemia. Then, when his marriage dissolved, more like shattered into a million pieces. Followed by a couple of cases that had tested his limits of trust. They'd destroyed some too. Today was different. Mary Keliikoa, his ex-wife, with whom he'd shared the gutting grief of those past years, had offered hope for reconciliation, the chance to glue a few of those pieces back together. It would never be the same without their little girl, but perhaps they could create something new. Leaving for the mountains just after Labor Day was less than ideal. Though the tourist season coming to an end in Misty Pines and Abby due a vacation at the Bureau, it was the best time. Deputy Rachel Killian, his new hire and right hand, was turning out to be as capable as he hoped. Applicants for filling the gaps at their station had been sparse. Few, it seemed, wanted to work these days, or work at the often cool and foggy Oregon coast. He'd at least be able to get the most of his young crew on a full-time payroll, so Rachel had help. Bottom line, getting away was Abby's idea. He would not tell her no. Now to get through the pep talk with the team. The two major events of the past year had allowed them to punch a few notches in their experience belt, but wisdom and reliance on gut instincts were born with time. Leaving them to run Misty Pines without his guidance had his muscles taut. He entered the sheriff's office with his duffel flung over his shoulder. "Oh, hon, don't tell me that's all you're taking for the week," Trudy said. Jax's longtime secretary and overall team mother to him and his ragtag group of deputies lifted the headset off her ears. He suppressed a smile. "Glad to see your accident hasn't made you any less opinionated." 8 months had passed since the event that nearly stolen her from him and the team. A warm and fuzzy Trudy would be hard to get used to. He was grateful he didn't have to learn. Trudy rested the headset around her neck. "Looks like Abby hasn't given you any clue about where you're going." "Other than the mountains, not much," he said. "I tossed a few essentials in my truck." "Like?" "A good book and a board game," he smiled. "A couple bottles of wine." She arched her brow. "What? I'm assuming she arranged for us to go to some luxury resort." "You think so?" Abby likes her massages, saunas, and breakfast in bed, not to mention basking on the deck with a steaming cup of coffee. For being a tough, no-nonsense woman and a hell of an FBI agent, she liked the finer things, and she earned every damn one of them. "And what do you like?" Trudy asked. He chuckled. "Not much of what he just mentioned." "Roughing it," he said. "And she arranged this for the two of you to reconnect?" His smile faded. He dropped the bag at his feet. "Are we camping?" Trudy laughed and shook her head. "When it comes to women, you do take a minute to catch up. Might I suggest a few more items?" "Like a tent?" He'd have to dig it out of his garage, which wouldn't take long. "No, but a communication device might come in handy." "Well, Abby said something about our phones being off for the week." He shifted on his feet. "Are you saying we're headed somewhere with no service?" She returned to her desk in response. Of course they were. Several interruptions to his and Abby's conversation had come from the station over the past months. Too often when they just settled in to talk or were on the edge of a sensitive topic. Tourist season was like that every year, with the random fender bender, a too loud party on the beach, a drunken brawl at the pub, some infraction demanding his attention. Added to that, Brody had slid his motorcycle on the wet pavement and nearly dislocated a shoulder in spring. Garrett had a few interviews in Portland, one in Seattle. Matt had called in to stock shelves by his boss at the IGA grocery store when they were short-staffed, which had become more consistent. Time with Abby had been the price, although the last time they'd carved out a night together still brought a smile to his face. Maybe this trip signaled her intention of wanting more quality togetherness. That thought alone made having limited phone access worth it, regardless of where they went, even as the uneasiness of being out of contact with his crew niggled at him. He flung the bag back over his shoulder and headed to his office. The click of claws on the linoleum sounded behind him. "Boss?" Rachel Killian, her black lab, came out of the kitchen. "You all set?" "Almost. Picking Abby up soon for what appears to be a wilderness retreat." Rachel laughed. "Don't look so concerned." "I'm not." "Uh-huh. That's why you've got a crease between your eyebrows." He rubbed the spot. "Guess I'm not fond of surprises." "Never have been myself," she said. "But I have a feeling you'll have fun." "According to Trudy, I will. Hope Abby does." It was sweet that she'd chosen a place that appealed to him. More imperative if she enjoyed it herself. He'd never been one to sleep on the ground. "Believe me, she did good," she said. "Take it you know where we're headed?" "Not precisely." "How about a hint of what you know, so I'm better prepared?" Having spent far too much time in the dark, he preferred to be ahead of things these days. She did a zipping motion in front of her mouth. "I get that it'll be difficult for you, but try not to worry. The men and I have everything covered." He nodded. Letting go of the wheel would never be easy, and the law enforcement things could change quickly. But Rachel was solid, and he trusted her, despite his former partner Jameson not agreeing with him hiring his only daughter. Jax had made the right call. He stood by it. There would be no hesitation about him and Abby taking time for themselves this week. "You'll get a hold of me if there's a problem," he said. "You won't have any? I'm taking the satellite phone." Rachel folded her arms over her chest. "Suppose that's smart after the last trek in the wilderness." "Exactly my thought," he said. Rachel pursed her lips, recalling that day when the radio silence had left her and the team wrought with worry as they waited for word on whether Jax and Abby were alive. But Abby should understand his decision if it came up. Probably better if it didn't. "Let's do a briefing before I head out," he said. Rachel winked. "The men are waiting for you in the strategy room." He chuckled. That's why there'd be no signs of them when he arrived. In his office, he set his duffel bag on the chair and retrieved the satellite telephone, burying it near the bottom in a t-shirt. Once he checked his email for the 10th time and cleared his desk, he started toward the meeting room until he heard voices in the reception area. Trudy was holding open the station's door. The men were grabbing their gear, about to file out, Rachel and Koa behind him. "What'd I miss?" Jax said. Koa turned around at the sound of his voice, trotting to his side. Jax squatted near her, draping his arm gently over her back. "Nothing to worry about, boss," Rachel said. "Routine traffic revision, Chief," Brody said. "We've got it." He gelled down his wispy brown hair today, making him look young. Too young. "I've got 40 minutes before—" "Oh, no, you don't, Jax Turner," Trudy said. "It's a half-hour drive to Abby, and you will not be late." We've got it, Sheriff," Rachel said, calling Koa to her. Koa didn't budge. "Koa's siding with me on this," he said. Rachel lifted a brow at her black lab, who promptly returned to her side. "Fine," Jax stood. He wanted a team he could rely on, and he had one. So why did he feel left out? "Who's in need of traffic revision anyway?" "The fire department," Trudy said. "There's an apartment complex on fire at the edge of town," Rachel said. Battalion Chief Mike O'Brien rarely requested assistance. With the remaining tourists eking out the last of their holiday weekend, there could be a traffic log, he supposed. "I'll go with you," Jax said. Rachel held up her hands in a stop gesture. "Please, get out of here, and have a good time." Before he could protest, Rachel was out the door and Trudy shut it behind them. Through the glass, Jax watched his seams slide into two of the patrol cars. "You've heard your deputy, hun. Get your stuff and head to Abby's. And don't come back until you and that saint of a woman have worked everything out." Trudy was right. He needed to check his ego. Misty Pines could handle a week without him. A call came through Trudy's headset, which she tapped to answer. She settled behind her desk as he grabbed his bag, her voice fading as he walked outside. "Yes, Mrs. Harper, just a small fire. Nothing to worry about." Chapter 2. Rachel arrived at work with her hair down and feeling the effects of too much red wine from the night before. She and Janelle, her girlfriend for the past year who encouraged her to apply for the deputy position, had argued over Rachel working too much, preceded by a fight that she'd had with her father about moving to Misty Pines in the first place. She'd expected he'd get over that and give it a rest. Putting 100 miles between them had made zero difference. He wanted her back in Portland, and she'd be damn sure he didn't get his way. Succeeding here mattered, and she had to some extent. The team treated her like one of the boys. Even Garrett, the deputy who felt more deserving of her position at the beginning, had come around. Trudy was like a surrogate grandma who Koa adored. It didn't hurt that she kept a drawer full of dog treats at the ready. And Rachel loved Sheriff Jax like an uncle, even if everyone compared them, like she was a chip off the old block. She only smiled when it came up, knowing she was still her own person. Still, she considered Jack's family from the time he was her father's partner, and he'd kept her under his wing since taking a chance in hiring her. He appreciated her, something Portland's higher ranks never had, but he stayed in charge. Until today. With Jax gone for a week, she'd have a chance to demonstrate what she could do, and who she could be to him. She should be excited. was excited, if for no other reason than to prove to the people of Misty Pines that she lived in no one's shadow. But in the last month, she began to realize Jax had been right to ask the question he had during their initial interview nearly 9 months ago. Would the small town vibe be too slow-paced for her? If she were honest? "Where do you want us?" Brody said, appearing at her patrol car window and breaking through her thoughts. "Give me a sec." She climbed out, leaving Koa inside. The black lab let out a pitiful whine before she closed the door, pacing the back seat. Rachel ducked in and ruffled her neck, giving her a potty break at the station. "What's up, girl?" Koa cocked her head, then barked. She never acted needy, yet she'd glued herself to Jax, and now this. Perhaps the men in the bunker gear with the masks around their neck had unnerved her? Although Koa knew how to read the room, too. "You feeding off my cranky vibes this morning, girl?" "I'm okay, Koa. I'll be close by." With no smoke drifting toward the road, Rachel rolled down the back window further so Koa could catch the breeze coming off the ocean. "We'll go for a run tonight near the beach so you can chase those seagulls later. Promise." The exercise and outlet would be good for both of them. Rachel returned her thoughts to Brody's question and where to station the men as Matt joined them. "Thought we were being called to a complex fire," Matt said, yawning. "Too many late nights?" Rachel said. "Too many jobs." Matt nodded and looked toward the 8-plex at the end of the street, not sure how Matt did it, working both as a deputy and a night grocery stocker. She could hear Janelle now if she took on the second gig. But Matt had been right to ask the question. 2 of Misty Pines' 3 fire rigs blocked the road in front of the complex. 8 of the 10-man volunteer crew were on the scene, but she only saw Chief O'Brien at the base of the sidewalk. No visible flames or smoke came from the building. There didn't appear to be much traffic buildup either. "Above our pay grade to question the request," she said. "Probably came from Mark so he could watch us run around like rats in a car engine again," Brody said. None of them were fans of Commissioner Troy Marks, including Jax most of the time. But they were no one's rats. Fire and Rescue Direct made the call. The battalion chief was doling out orders to his men. As the leader of the crew until Jax returned, she would act more like him. "And regardless," she said, "we're here to assist. Matt, drink more coffee and take Glendale Road. Brody, ease traffic onto Sherman from there." "Yes, ma'am." She winced. "It's Rachel." "Rachel." Brody flashed a smile. From the start, he'd welcomed her as an addition, but lately he'd seemed more in tune with hot rods and motorbikes. His off-duty gig at Len's Auto suited him. But Rachel wondered what they'd get more help. Seemed a bit overkill to have them doing all of the traffic control. Garrett was lucky he had the day off. With a glance to confirm Koa was good, she had her nose sticking out the window, Rachel strode to the man in charge and told him where she'd posted the deputies. "Anywhere else you'd like us, Chief?" "That'll do." He was appraising the building. She followed his gaze. "Fire already under control?" "Hasn't started," he said. "Caller was mistaken or wanted to get our attention, like we had other places to be." He huffed. The one tenant felt nauseous with the pounding headache. Another thought they smelled gas. Could be nothing or something. Either way, they were smart enough to clear out the apartments. "I'm keeping everyone a suitable distance until we know what we have." Rachel had encountered traffic rubberneckers and curious bystanders on the regular in Portland. Human nature prevailed, small town or not. But with plenty of first responders on the scene, this task hardly required her entire team. Guess it would make for a good tall tale over a pint of beer later. It seemed all the residents of Misty Pines were desperate for some action. "Where are the tenants?" she asked. "Across the street." He nodded to a small huddled group. "Is everyone accounted for? I see 4 people from an 8-apartment complex. An upstairs occupant is believed to be at work." His words were clipped, clearly not liking the question. "The couple who lives across the way are on vacation, and the one downstairs unit is vacant, according to Winona." The chief pointed to a long, dark-haired woman wrapped in a blanket in the group. Rachel recognized her as an employee at the gas station on the other side of town. "Where are you on confirming if there's a leak?" "How about you go and manage the traffic?" "How about you answer the question?" She matched his tone. When working in Portland, she'd met more than a few like Chief O'Brien. He cleared his throat. We're still searching. That said, this place is decades old and has faulty pipes and doesn't exactly meet today's code. He frowned and spoke into his radio to the crew inside, turning his attention away and dismissing her. About to respond, a flash of black darted past her. It moved so fast she had little time to register as it entered the stairwell that divided the two sides of the units. The sheriff growled. What the? Rachel whipped around her patrol car long enough to see the back door wide open. Dread crushed her chest and she lunged forward. The chief clutched her upper arm, stopping her momentum. No one else in that building without my say-so. She shook herself loose. Koa! The sound of feet pounding on the pavement exploded from behind her. I'm so sorry, Matt said, his face red and contorted. What did you do? She was clawing to get out, and I was afraid she'd rip up the interior. He swallowed hard. I thought she had to do her business. Koa wouldn't have reacted that way unless she sensed something, or someone. There'd be no other reason for her to go inside. And Rachel had missed it, thinking too much about the pace of the town not being enough, of stepping out of Jax's shadows. Wrapped up in her own clouded thoughts of her girlfriend's accusations and her father's demands. Are you sure the building's empty? She said to the chief. Fairly. We're still in the process of confirming what the neighbors told us. The chief grabbed his walkie. Team report. Where are we? The rumble beneath them caught Rachel's attention first. Clear the area, the chief ordered. As he and Matt stumbled backwards, Rachel went forward. No one told her where to go when it came to Koa. Before she'd gone a step, a blast of glass and heat erupted from the front windows of the bottom apartment, slamming her to her knees. She watched in horror as flames licked the building and black smoke snaked to the apartments above. All right, that is the prologue, Chapter 1 and 2 from Killer Tracks by Mary Keliikoa. Sorry, Mary, if I butchered your name. I'm trying really hard. Okay, my review. So Killer Tracks is a cop thriller. Sheriff Jax Turner heads out of Misty Pines for a romantic week at a private mountain getaway. Deputy Rachel Killian is left in charge and eager to prove herself to the man who is more like an uncle and to the rest of her team. But the week isn't what either of them expect when a serial killer walks out of prison and goes on the hunt for the one who put him there. Bottom line, Killer Tracks is for you if you like your thrills, high tension, high stakes, and high altitudes. All right, so this story is told from 3 points of view, which you got from what I read. Sheriff Jax Turner, he leads the drama side of the story. So he and his ex Rachel have big hurdles to get over. Rachel planned this vacation, and they both know what it is. It's the last chance. So Jax is a strong and capable lead, and we see him struggle against his nature and decades of habits to find the way back to the woman he loves. It doesn't really help his case that real problems keep getting thrown into their path. Deputy Rachel Killian leads the cop procedural side. Yes, she's eager to prove herself, but it's because she's confident, not arrogant, and I know there's a very thin line between those two. As the investigation into the apartment fire turns into something bigger, we see what it takes to lead. Rachel is energetic and determined, and we see her battle between her head and her heart to lead this investigation. And then there's the bad guy. We don't know who he is. We don't know what he wants. We know who he's watching, and we know something very bad is going to happen. But to who, where, and when? So you can see where I felt reading those 3 passages were really what's going to give you the flavor of the story to help you understand if you should be hunting down Killer Tracks yourself. I have to say that this is one of the best plotted thrillers that I've read in a long time. Keliikoa does an excellent job of putting all of her characters in their places for a reason. She doesn't rely on coincidence, or she doesn't rely on plot discontinuities that are used to make things happen. It's something that makes thrillers a real struggle for me, because y'all know how the way I am on well, that doesn't make sense. Everything in this one makes sense. As I sit back thinking on the story in the day since I finished it, every question I have has an answer, and every box is checked. Killer Tracks is highly recommended for readers who love thrillers that edge towards psychological. So you got a little bit of flavor of the pacing. So there is some physical action, but it's not car chase. These are not big gunfights. They are, there's physicality in that the characters move around, but it is not a shoot 'em up. So I guess, again, if you put thrillers on the spectrum from psychological to full out, what would you call it, James Bond, this is somewhere in the middle. This is book 3 in the Misty Pines series. I have not read books 1 or 2. It's clear that character development came from prior books, and you definitely got some of that as I was reading the first 2 chapters. While I expect those who have read the first books will feel more of a connection to the characters that I did, I thought again that Keliikoa provided enough background that reading the others first is a nice to have. I know. All of us readers are like, what? Starting a book or a series at book 3? That's like a crime. So go ahead, read books 1 and 2, and then jump into 3. And if you like what I read and you want to start right here, you're going to be just fine. Killer Tracks was released from Level Best Books and is promoted by Partners in Crime Tours. It is available from online retailers. Let me introduce you to our author, Mary Keliikoa. 18 years in the legal field and an overactive imagination led Pacific Northwest native Mary Keliikoa to start writing mystery and suspense. She is the author of domestic thriller Don't Ask, Don't Follow, the award-winning Hidden Pieces, and Deadly Tides, a Mystery Pine mystery series. And the P.I. Kelly Brewitt mystery series included the multi-award nominated Derailed for Best Debut. Her short stories can be found in Women's World and the anthology Peace, Love, and Crime. You can find her on the web at Mary Keliikoa, which is spelled KELIIKOA.com, on Instagram at mary.keliikoa.author, and on Facebook at mary.keliikoa.author. Wondering what to do when you finish reading Killer Tracks? Partners in Crime Tour is your ultimate destination for all things mystery, crime, thriller, and cozy. Since 2011, they've been working to fill bookshelves with their gripping and heart-pounding reads. Discover new mystery series and connect with other fans with Partners in Crime. Look up Partners in Crime Tours on the web or your favorite social media. And authors, whether you're looking to promote your latest thriller, discover a new mystery series, or connect with fellow fans of a genre, PICT has you covered. Check out their promotion options that come with the personal attention of a dedicated coordinator. And join us next week for Season 9, Stuff That Can Kill You, Sticky, where it's all about the weapons. Biological is our sticky means of murder in A Cast of Crabs by Larry M. Keaton. And New to Mysteries to Die For features an interview of Larry M. Keaton by our own Jax Wolff. All right, Jack, take us out.